If you are a fan of Tory Lanez, listen up because this is a very important update. Tory Lanez has essentially been caught with his hand in the cookie jar in legal terms. See, if you've been following this Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion drama over the last 4 years, then you will understand that the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez battle in and out of court isn't done. Even after the verdict, even after Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years, it's still not done yet. You see, Megan Thee Stallion has been committed to making sure Tory Lanez stays in prison for as long as possible. See, Tory Lanez is doing 10 years. However, that could be 85%, and then you could probably have some reduction comment after the 85%. So Tory Lanez was looking at, or is looking at, possibly being released in like 2028, 2030. So Megan Thee Stallion is making sure that Tory Lanez served that full 10 years. So what can she do to make sure that Tory Lanez served that full 10 years? She can make sure the court sees Tory Lanez as an absolute menace and as an absolute threat to her physically, emotionally, and mentally. So what was her first step in doing this? Her first step was proving that Tory Lanez was paying members of the media to stalk, harass, and put out false stories about her, including deepfakes.
Megan Thee Stallion now is suing a content creator for allegedly promoting falsehoods about her, claiming she's posting lies. And listen, I saw this girl, she goes by the name Milagro, has a pretty big following on Twitter. So Megan is suing her because she says she's been posting lies, and she was very pro Tory Lanez during the trial. But I guess she had it when she decided to post a deep fake porn.
The blogger being sued is this girl right here called Milagro. Now, she was with me and other content creators during the Tory Lanez trial. However, her coverage was really good, and she got a lot of the publicity that came from being at the trial. So she would come and cover the trial. Now, her coverage of the trial was heavily siding with Tory Lanez, right? She was clearly pro Tory Lanez, and she was adamant that Megan Thee Stallion was a liar and a fraud. Now, her assumption that Megan Thee Stallion was a liar and a fraud, I'll be real, that was a pretty good assumption, right? Because Megan Thee Stallion has been exposed for hella lies since. But because she was covering the case as a pro Tory Lanez instead of down the middle, a lot of people was assuming that she was on Tory Lanez's team from day one.
The thing that keep on tripping up Megan and her people is the omission of facts. When you leave these things out, and then the defense is able to come in and paint that picture, you're looking crazy. And that's what happened.
Hey, let me ask you another question too. Did the prosecutor really start there? Because that's what we heard, that they start their opening statements by not even painting any picture of what happened at a party.
Tory Lanez was ultimately found guilty, but Milagro's coverage of the trial hasn't really stopped. Milagro has been on Twitter advocating for Tory Lanez's appeal, Tory Lanez's release, putting out stories about Megan Thee Stallion, putting out stories about Tory Lanez. Now, Megan Thee Stallion believes that the stories that Milagro has been putting out against her is not just defamatory, but she's doing it deliberately on behalf of Tory Lanez. She's essentially working for Tory Lanez to slander, harass, and stalk her while Tory Lanez is behind bars. So Megan specifically filed a lawsuit against Milagro to tie her in with Tory Lanez. An official lawsuit enables her and her team to petition the prison, the courts, certain entities to hand over information they wouldn't have to hand over if a lawsuit wasn't present. But in the lawsuit, they stated, for years, defendant Cooper acted and continues to act on behalf of Daystar Peterson as an online rumor mill, churning out falsehoods about Miss Pete to her thousands of social media followers. They claim that these rumors caused Megan distress, caused her to tarnish her reputation. Paragraph 2 states, the lengths to which Milagro goes to harass Megan knows no bounds. For example, she has gone so far as to share a deepfake pornography video of Megan. In June 2024, Milagro encouraged her 27,000 followers on Twitter to view a Twitter post by Bimbella that shared a doctor artificially created video of Megan Thee Stallion engaged in sexual acts without Megan Thee Stallion's knowledge or consent. After Milagro conduct led to a firestorm of negative reactions from others, Milagro doubled down in a YouTube video on June 9, 2024, claiming Megan was a professional victim and denying any wrongdoing. But Milagro is wrong. Her conduct was an unlawful promotion of an altered sexual depiction, caused Megan severe emotional distress and reputational harm. Now, Milagro was on Twitter saying she didn't make the deep fake. She didn't post a deep fake. All she did was just retweet it. But that's the thing though, right? Even though you's not the one who posted it and you ain't the one who created it, you still promoted it, right? And I believe in Florida, that's still a crime, right? That's still something that's wrong and you can be punished for and sued for. So Milagro's defense of, well, I'm not the one who posted a deepfake doesn't matter, right? If you promote it, you're also liable. So it continues. In another instance, on September 2nd, 2024, Milagro accused Megan of having a severe drinking problem, who needs to spend more time in a relationship with herself and her therapist and maybe AA. Defendant Milagro has no personal relationship with Megan and had no basis to make such outlandish and false claims. That also won't stand in court. Megan Thee Stallion herself has came out and publicly stated that she don't want to live no more, that she's currently severely depressed. Megan Thee Stallion herself has spoken towards her mental health status. So I don't feel like Milagro making an assumption based on what Megan Thee Stallion has stated is going to withstand in court. So far, the only thing they really have against Milagro, bro, is the deep fake. But this lawsuit here isn't even about Milagro at all. We're going to get through it, but read this and understand this isn't about Milagro. Megan Thee Stallion could give a damn about Milagro. This is all about Tory Lanez and trying to tie Milagro to Tory Lanez. But it continues, all right? 5. Defendant low blows did not stop here. Defendant consistently resorted to name calling. Ms. P characterized her as an angry black woman and as a lying hoe during her online live streams. Well, duh, Megan Thee Stallion is a liar, right? She has lied. So this right here, again, won't withstand in court. 6. Additionally, in or around June 29th of 2024, defendant tried to pull information on Megan's father in an attempt to publish private information about her family and cause damage to Megan's reputation. Megan has repeatedly tried to stop defendant misconduct and asked what it would take to stop being posted on defendant's platform. In response, defendant provided the snide advice that Megan should just get over it or go away. Milagro also made numerous false statements about Megan regarding Tory in the trial. Defendant's conspiratorial relationship with Tory Lanez is troubling. Defendant acts as a paid surrogate used to spread Tory lies about Megan Thee Stallion. So they will go ahead and show a bunch of the tweets, all right? So they show Milagro saying, talking about credible when we all sit in there, shut the F up. Kelsey spoke to prosecutors and told them one thing, but today says she's lied. Kelsey says she never saw Tory pull a gun on Megan or shoot her, which that wasn't true. I believe Kelsey pled the fifth to that. All right, so Milagro continues and says, all this case taught anyone was that your father, brother, cousin, or son could face over 20 years in prison without proper evidence, a botched investigation, and another likely suspect just because non-credible witnesses said you did something. This right here, I do think is protected under fair speech because this is her giving her opinion. Milagro has a very small following in comparison to Megan Thee Stallion. However, Milagro has a very niche community, and that niche community is very obsessed with the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion case. So hence, whenever she disseminates information, due to how the algorithm works, if a lot of your subscribers or followers is tapped into one particular thing, well, that tells the algorithm this is a good post to spread, so then they spread it. So because Milagro community is very niche, so out of, let's say, like 30,000 followers, like 28,000 of them all care about the Tory case. So if 28,000 people, whenever you post it, if 95% of your audience is engaged and engaged with your particular post, is going to spread into the algorithm. So which is why Milagro is able to do millions of views, even though she has a small follower count when it comes to the Tory case. So Megan Thee Stallion and her team is more concerned with Milagro's influence over the fan base when it comes to this Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion trial. Because Milagro, due to her positioning herself as the person who was at trial and who did live streams and documented everything at trial after each and every day, she's now seen as an authority. So when she comes out and says things like, didn't I tell y'all that the gun was never presented in court and that it make no damn sense? They gave the serial number and breezed past it like, first off, whose is it? Origin point, please. And she would also say, according to recently filed paperwork in the Tory Lanez case, the gun and bullet fragments associated with the crime have gone missing. I don't know how that particular point is going to be argued as defamation, because Milagro is essentially saying Tory Lanez and his team just reported in a court document that the gun went missing. Well, Tory Lanez and his team lied. It wasn't true, right? The fragments or the gun did not go missing. It wasn't true. However, Milagro reported what they reported, but how she reported it came across as if this is my facts and my statements. I told y'all before the gun went missing. This document right here is supporting my statements of the gun went missing. So if the court deems that or rule as if she is using Tory Lanez's court document or court petition to confirm and verify a story that she had already put out there before, well then, that's defamation, right? Because you're using this to prove that Megan Thee Stallion lied, which is, it wasn't true, right? The gun or the fragments did not go missing, but Megan Thee Stallion to me is a liar and did lie about a lot of things in this case. But the gun and the bullet fragments going missing is something she did not lie about. Milagro's first response to this was to have the court dismiss it, which I don't even know why she will play these games, bro. Like, Megan Thee Stallion is hiring powerhouse attorneys that's gonna have a lawsuit just easily dismissed like that.
This is a case that's kind of flown under the radar. We've got a blogger, Milagro Grams, now asking a judge to dismiss this case brought on by Megan Thee Stallion. She's claiming a cyber stalking. What more can you tell us about this?
I think the one claim that is going to be a real hindrance to any kind of dismissal motion is the claim brought under a brand new Florida law regarding the promotion of a altered sexual depiction of somebody. And this covers people who simply promote images, not people who make these images themselves. And this is a main claim behind Megan's lawsuit against Milagro, is that she was promoting this image through her social media posts. So I think with the newness of that law, I imagine we're going to see Megan's lawyers respond to this dismissal motion really focused on that. And I'm not sure a new law like that is going to be able to, I think it will survive the dismissal motion, just given how new it is and the unprecedented nature of it.
And absolutely, and thinking about the implications for others as well. Megan Cuniff, thank you so much for breaking this all down for us. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of media powerhouses and independent content creators did come to Milagro's defense, because from the outside looking in, it looked like a really big celebrity was bullying a very small content creator. And once you make that a normal thing, that right there could be a threat to the blogger industry, period, right? If you giving your opinion and you're not 100% right or factual on everything you give an opinion about, and now these big celebrities can just come and sue you and take you out the game, it came across as bullying. So people like academics did step up and say, yo, he'll be willing to help Milagros get a lawyer.
The whole intimidation of independent media influencers, I'm not standing for that. And I was, that's why I said all these other media niggas be suckers, because, like, the first thing that came to my mind is, like, I'm going to see how real these niggas are. By the time I get home, I'm in Houston right now. By the time I get home, nigga, bro, she's trying to Big Bang, take Lil Bang type shit. Like, she's trying to shut somebody up. And if any artist feel like they could get that off on anybody, maybe not me, maybe they could get off on, I'm not saying she don't got bread or whatever, but get off on her or anybody else, nigga, that's going to be the tactic. So really, I was going to be like, yo, I'm going to just see what these media niggas have with it. All right, yo, let's start a GoFundMe, nigga. I'm going to just throw the first 10, 15,000 in there. Let's see if anybody else going to contribute, because the moment we let Rock Nation, and it's not about an artist, Rock Nation, any of these entities feel like if they sue a blogger or they sue a news reporter in this independent media industry, and they could just shut you up, get some type of injunctive measure to make sure you don't report about whatever. Right now, Megan's getting killed, but she getting killed by her own accord. Look, how y'all gonna file a lawsuit on Milagro, and then the next day she put out a goddamn documentary, she in the documentary saying she lied. I was looking at it, I'm like, yo, if it come down to it, even if I'm getting involved, like, it's gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna just see who gonna put up and shut up, because at the end of the day, this whole new media independent game we got going on, we got to start seeing, I ain't saying we unionizing type shit, but we got to start seeing who's really for it.
It was never about Milagro in the first place. It was all about Tory Lanez. And the recent petitions we've seen Megan Thee Stallion and her team of attorneys they put in place this week, it proves the real focus and real attention here is Tory Lanez. You see, this lawsuit was just a veil for them to go after Tory Lanez and get some information they wouldn't be able to. You see, Megan Thee Stallion was able to petition the court to get Tory Lanez's jailhouse calls to his family members because of this lawsuit. And when they got that jailhouse call, they was able to find some very interesting things in a jailhouse call that tie Tory Lanez to Milagro. They were able to get all of Tory Lanez jailhouse calls through a subpoena. Now, the one particular call, though, that they focused on are the calls between Tory and his father. Now, why they are focusing on this, because in one of these calls, Milagro's name was actually mentioned. And the lawyer says that Tory Lanez is running a harassment campaign against shooting victim Megan Thee Stallion from prison, and they're suing a woman they believe has been paid by him to spread misinformation online. Tory Lanez and his father, Sunstar Peterson, discussed Milagro Cooper in prison phone calls obtained by Megan's lawyer, according to a new court filing, and their comment shows Lanez is still orchestrating Megan's harassment from behind bars while using Milagro as his mouthpiece. In one phone call, the Petersons confidently asserted that Megan will be unable to prove that Tory paid Milagro for attacking Megan. Now, they're trying to say that him saying that is proof that he did indeed pay her to harass Megan, when that could also be interpreted as, oh, they'll be unable to find any proof or be able to prove that I did this because I didn't do it. But instead, they're trying to interpret this as, well, he's saying this because he claims they hit it up well. Well, it could be because they never did it. So they also show, though, that Milagro is pictured with Tory's father on her Instagram. They're having a good time. They're having dinner, right? They're doing the whole nine. But being friends with Tory Lanez and his father isn't really anything, right? And doesn't prove that Tory Lanez is paying you. However, if you could prove payments, well, then that right there could prove he's paying you. And that's where the second subpoena came in. You see, they subpoenaed Zell to get information. Listen, I've never seen a civil case. I've never seen lawyers from a civil case be able to turn over information this fast. So they subpoenaed Zell. And when the Zell receipts came in, this is where Tory Lanez is cooked. The Zell records show that Tory Lanez's father paid Milagro $3,000 for unknown reasons. It's unknown exactly why Milagro received $3,000 from Tory Lanez's father. Now, we did see her and Tory Lanez's father at dinner, having a good old time on social media. So could they be friends? Could she be borrowing money? Could this be for dinner? Who knows? But $3,000 went from Tory Lanez's daddy to Milagro. Now, this is not good. This is not good. When Megan is suing, well, not suing Tory Lanez yet, but when she's suing Milagro, under the assumption that Milagro is getting paid by Tory Lanez to defame her and lie on her. So to have the father, somebody who you were on a phone call saying they can't prove I paid her, this is bad. This is very bad. So after they obtained the Zelle transactions now, Megan Thee Stallion and her lawyer filed an emergency restraining order against Tory Lanez. Megan files a civil restraining order. Now, the hearing is scheduled for January 9th. But when you look at the wording of this, it says, Mr. Peterson, which is Tory Lanez, was sentenced to 10 years in state prison, but continues his campaign of harassment from behind bars. And they got the Zelle receipts to show Tory Lanez's father paid this blogger who's always spreading false things about me $3,000. Hence, he's paying her to lie on me. Now, it continues, bruh. All right, now this right here, though, this right here gives up Megan Thee Stallion, all right? This here really tells us exactly what this is all about. Megan Thee Stallion has been seeing that Tory Lanez's appeal efforts have been very successful and has been working. Tory Lanez's appeal efforts have been getting accepted by the courts, and he's inching one step closer to potentially being released, or at least getting the gun charge off his record, right? That gun charge is very important, because if Tory Lanez get that gun charge off his record, well, that reduces the actual sentence to 5 years. And 85% of 5 years, well, Tory Lanez is out by next year. So Megan Thee Stallion is trying every way possible, bro, to make sure that Tory Lanez spends as long as he can in prison. So she files this and says, without a restraining order, Megan will be left without any protection for when Mr. Peterson is released from prison. This possibility alone causes Ms. Pete severe emotional distress and makes her fearful for her life. So hence, in the case of Tory Lanez getting that gun charge dismissed and having the sentence reduced to 5 years or 6 years, Well, yo, no parole board is about to let you out next year if you have the victim who has proven in civil court that you are actively harassing her from jail, from prison. You're gonna do the full 5 years, homie. So that right there is her plan. And I'll be real, right now she got Tory Lanez in a checkmate situation, bro. In a checkmate situation. Because we all have to be fair here, and we have to admit, the reason why we are so anti-Rock Nation and Megan Thee Stallion in this circumstance, because we understand that Rock Nation used their power to utilize the media in these platforms to attack Tory Lanez and silence him. We know this. So Tory Lanez was at an unfair advantage during this entire situation. We know this. So if Tory Lanez is playing the same games that Rock Nation played, but he's just playing it at a smaller level, we are now faced with a dilemma. Do we accuse or excuse Tory Lanez of doing this just because we understand that him doing this is him just trying to be on the same playing field as Rock Nation? That him doing this is a response to Rock Nation also doing the exact same thing on a larger scale? Or do we condemn Tory Lanez and condemn Rock Nation because we are vehemently against the action, period? We don't care what the excuse is, we are against the action of it, period. Well, that's something you have to figure out for yourself. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? All right, and if you're still watching this, man, click on this video right here on my screen to find out why Travis Hunter is the biggest idiot on the internet today. I'm gonna see you guys in this video right here. Out of here, folks. Peace.